Hello. My name is Michelle. I am 51 on here sharing my weekly budgeting check-ins. It's holding me accountable. Hopefully it's also giving you some ideas. Y'all, I am being so ridiculous right now. First of all, I got a new mic. I really need to be like, microphone check, microphone check. That's showing my age. I'm originally from the East Coast, and there used to be this group called DOS Effects. That song was so cool. I don't know if anybody watching me knows that song, but that's one of my favorites. Anyway, let me start off by showing y'all how absolutely ridiculous I'm being. So I bought these shoes over the weekend. Look at these, aren't they cute? They're very cute. Like, these are, ta-da, like, you know, they're the kind of shoes where, like, you can still, like, dress it up a little bit, because I love patent leather stuff, y'all, but it should be comfortable. Unfortunately, they're not comfortable. So what am I doing? I'm sitting in my house right now with some socks on, with these shoes on, trying to stretch them out, because they're so cute. These really should be comfortable. It's ridiculous they're not. Let me apologize in advance if you can hear the lawn people outside. But I figured, let me just do this, because if not, time will get away from me, then, you know, I won't do it. So let me review what I'm up to this week. I got my little clipboard with my notes and stuff on it. So this is for the last week of May, which is going to be from Friday, May 22nd to Sunday, May 31st, because I figured since we're already, you know, at the end of a month, it would just make sense. That way I could wrap it up and everything. So first, for fuel, I spent $25.29, which must be right there, which, you know, works for me. I always feel like I need to move over so that when I put the picture right there. What I've been doing is getting gas on Friday and then hoping it gets me to the next Friday. Luckily, that is exactly what has worked so far. Actually, last week I didn't drive as much, so when I put that 25 in, I was like actually over the halfway mark, because I'm out on the West Coast, gas is high. It is starting to come down a little. Last time I got gas, it was like $4.69, but I was like driving around this past week, and I saw some places actually had like $4.19, $4.20, so I may have to just go back to those places. Next is household. I spent $41.49, and I gotta look at my notes, because I'm like, what did I spend that money on? Okay, so I went to Bath and Body and bought the 3 wick candles. They were on sale. So that ended up being, how much was that? That was $26.90. And then I also bought like a baking tin. I tend to bake like chicken and stuff like that. And I was just using like the, like those little tin pans that really aren't meant to be used over and over and over again. But I was using it, and then I messed around and burned my arm on the oven. Y'all, I'm trying to, where is it? I don't even know. Maybe can you see it? No, I don't know. Maybe it healed. But anyway, that's why I bought that. So that's where that household spending came in at. Next, food was $121.81. I was at the store a lot, y'all. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that if I'm anxious or stressed, I'm just eating. I'm eating. Now, at least I'm getting better about not necessarily going to like fast food to eat, but I definitely was in the store a lot over these last few days. So that's where that comes from. Dining out was $31.53. It's getting a little better because now I'm making my acai bowls at home. So I'm not spending money on that. But if I am stressed, I will be in McDonald's drive-thru a couple times. So that's exactly what that money came from. Next is hobbies. I'm very happy to report on hobbies, because that's showing me that I'm getting more balance in my life, that it's not just about basic survival, and I am actually incorporating some fun. So for hobbies, I spent $107.99, so $107.99. Had so much fun. I went to a comedy show. It was so much fun. Then I also ended up going to the casino afterwards, played a little roulette. I got to look at Baccarat, I think is how you say it. The lady who does my pedicure invited me to like meet her at the casino with some of her friends, and so she was showing me how to play that game. So it was an interesting thing. So I had fun, so that's where that money went to, and I really did have a good time. Can't say I won big in roulette, but if you're a gambler, you know the casino is just fun, especially on a Saturday night, because I had not been on a Saturday since I've been out here. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Self-care, I spent $144.15. I really think I'm going to combine like self-care and health and wellness, because as I was recording this, I was kind of like, well, what definition am I using to define health and wellness and then self-care? Because I almost feel like health and wellness is like the big category, and then under that you could have self-care. So that was like a combination of just stuff. I included my pedicure in there, and I, just did some other stuff that, hopefully positively impact my, health and wellness. Office supplies, $13.19. What did I buy? What was my office supply? Oh, I bought a lamp, y'all. It's so cute. I bought a lamp, and then I bought the light bulbs, and so I think that's primarily what that was. Like, I really should just, luckily I do have a little stock invested in Walmart, because I really do go there at least once a week. And next is miscellaneous. What is that? Miscellaneous is $64.64, and I'm trying to think what was miscellaneous. Oh, okay. So under miscellaneous, I ended up including these shoes that I just showed y'all, and then I also got a purse because I wore this stuff to the comedy club. It was so much fun. I know I said that, but it really was. I had such a good time. So that's where that miscellaneous came in at, and then let me rewind a little bit to hobbies. Actually, I did not include the comedy show in that total. That was the casino, and I bought a book. So that's where that 107 came in from. The comedy show, I categorized it under events, and the total cost me $52.01. Yes, I am like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you could go out to a comedy show and park and meet the 2-item minimum and only spend $52.01. So I was so happy. Okay, so when you total all of that up, drum roll, it's a lot, y'all. Oh, it just hurts my heart to say this out loud. In what is that, 10 days? Oh, goodness, y'all. I spent $602.10. Oh, I know. Technically my budget for this time though would have been $290, because it was covering a few extra days. It wasn't just the week to the week, which really worked out to about $29 a day. So that's how I got to $290. So that put me over by $310.10. Now, what I did end up doing, because I'm really getting good with these money systems, and I've talked about my sinking funds before. And so what I have started to do, I feel like I should move over when I get finished that part, then I feel more centered. But anyway, what I've been doing now is every time I get paid for my supplemental work, I've been putting money into my sinking funds, and I have revolving ones, and then I have more, I guess, kind of once in a while sinking funds. So the revolving ones are miscellaneous, household, what else is a revolving one? And office supplies. Well, I started an events one. So I'm liking that, because now what that means is every time I add to my sinking funds, I am putting something in events. So I was able to, out of that $602, I was able to replenish that by a couple $100 from my sinking funds, because you figure I had money in events, I had money in miscellaneous, I had money in household, and I had money in office supplies. And I also had money in self-care. So, and then the way I do this, I'm getting better at it. But what I do is, because my weekly spending budget just stays in my spending account, and each week, it's just being deducted. So the total amount is always in there. And so what I ended up doing is I just replenished it, like a couple days ago, and then that money will be where I start at for June, because I just replenished that, because unfortunately my supplemental work I won't be able to do in June and July, so I have to just work with the money from my pension. And so what I did was I just moved the money over, and I was able to come up with about $200. I know some people do a sinking fund tracker, but I really do believe in decision fatigue, and I feel like I don't really need to track my sinking funds like that because A, they're digital, B, when I'm moving the money around, I'm putting in the notes section kind of what it's for. So the way that I do keep up with the sinking funds is I keep a paper budget. And so I do write down like which funds I'm using to cover whatever I'm replenishing. So like if I ever looked back at my budgeting notes for the month, I'd be able to see like where the money came from for this particular month. So that's that. So this video is going to be a tad longer just because I wanted to share with you my May totals. Okay, so where is my May total? Okay, so my May totals are for fuel, I spent $101.13. Household, I spent $162. Food, $312.99. Dining out, $169.12. Hobbies, $107.99. Health and wellness, $37.15. Miscellaneous, $163.53. Self-care, $144.15. Fun, $60. Office supplies, $28.02. For a total of $1,286.11, and that was $124.60 more than last month. And I use this information to see, is my spending aligning with my values and, me building my dream life, and also to kind of update and simplify and tweak things. So what notes I left myself for May that I will incorporate in June is that one, I'm going to combine fun and hobbies. Because in essence, if I'm having fun, it's probably connected to one of my hobbies. So for now, I'm just gonna put fun in hobbies. And then I'm also going to combine self-care and health and wellness. And so that will go together. So now I think the category will just be health and wellness, and anything that is positively impacting my health or my well-being will fall under there. So hopefully that means that like massages will start working their way in there. Because I do definitely want to start those up. I don't think I'll be able to do it in June just because I won't be able to do my supplemental work. But hopefully by August, I'll be able to do that. So that is my overview for, the last week of May, and then just my total spending for May. And I'm still going to stick with the $200 a week spending budget because I think that's helpful and I think that's realistic. I am going to challenge myself though for June to actually spend less than $200 a week, like really keep it really around between $100 and $150. And the reason why is because I will be taking a trip. I'm going to a wedding in a couple weeks. And so I feel like because that's kind of like my mini getaway or vacation, the rest of the month I should be able to be pretty still and just kind of stay in the house, lean into my hobbies, and not really spend a whole bunch of money. I'm also expecting that this should not be an especially stressful month, which means my dining out and my food budget should be a little lower because I've also started working out. I really like Pilates, but it's just so much friction in me doing Pilates. Like I have to get the mat out, then I'm queuing up the little DVD. It's really on Amazon at this point. But for whatever reason, that just seems like that is messing me up. Like I can't figure out what time of day to do it to get the momentum on. So what I've started doing is I've just started doing push-ups for right now, like just keeping it simple. I don't have any equipment I really have to put out for that. I have hardwood floors, so I literally just spread my mat down and do push-ups. So now what I do is every morning when I get up, I read my affirmations and then I do 10 push-ups and then get on with my day. I meditate a little bit. Then in the evening, right before I take a shower, I just turn on some music and I do 50 push-ups. I usually can do like 20, then I have to like pause, then I can do like 15 more, then I pause, and then I can do last 15. So that is what I've been doing right now to just kind of get in the routine of exercise. And hopefully, my birthday's in November, so my goal is that like my arms will have a little bit more definition and my belly will be a little smaller. And I know you all can never see my belly on camera. And no, it's not, I'm not exactly looking pregnant, but it's just not like I would like it. It is like a little, I got a couple roles and stuff. So I just want that to get a little better. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have any tips, tricks, please let me know. And just thank you for coming along on this journey with me. I hope you're finding it helpful. So until later, as always, be grateful. Bye-bye.